Hello everyone and welcome back to another review on the channel. Today we'll be tackling the anime Date Alive, but more specifically just the first season. I'll explain why I'm doing only the first season for this video first, before you guys get angry at me in the comments for not just including every single season into one. So to put you all in my perspective, I feel like Date Alive can be best described as a very diverse anime, sort of. Forgive me if I'm not too good with words, but what I'm trying to say is that season 1 and season 2, I can kind of wrap my head around making it under the same video, but for season 1 and 2, there's some things I like and some things I don't like, which are different for both seasons. Hence the reason why I'm splitting it into two videos. As for why 3, 4, and 5 aren't gonna be in the same video, that's because mostly I just don't like 3 in general. If you were to force me to watch Date Alive season 3 without the premises of me doing anything else, I would definitely skip it. I just don't like 3. 4 and 5 in general, I just kinda find it odd, no, because like I grew up with 1 and 2 and also the movie. So watching 4 and 5 having like a completely different art style and animation just tickles my brain a bit. Not saying that it's bad. I'll get to reviewing that once I catch up on 5, but at the time being, I'm still struggling to get past 3, but I have already finished 4. As of why I'm doing this separate from the light novel itself, at first I'm planning to do a total light novel review of the story, but I feel like most of the people who watch the anime don't read the light novels, and that goes the same for me. For me, I'm a little bit different because I have read the light novel up until 10 Swords arc. So basically after season 5 ends or around season 5. So I'm pretty much almost in the final arc without major spoilers for what happened after the 10 Swords arc. 10 Spirit arc. That being said, the novel will be different in terms of review. I'll probably be doing like a summary for each volume depending on how I want to structure it, but for now, yep, this is gonna be how I'm gonna do each review for the series. As for what Date Alive is, I think released back in the early 2010s, the story focus revolve around Itsuka Shido, basically our main protagonist, and his ability to seal, or in this case, locked away spirit power from the girls. I'll explain more on that once I get into the stuff about the review itself. That is just the TLDR of those who haven't watched it. This is gonna be a very Harlem heavy anime. Well, you cannot really say Harlem heavy because like we have in the modern age we have 100 girlfriends and other stuff that have way more than Cheeto ever have. But yeah, it's gonna be a very Harlem heavy anime. So if you don't like Harlem, I suggest you just don't watch, or you just give season 1 and season 2 a watch. That is like, in my opinion, the best place that you could start. And yeah, if you don't like, you can stop it there. If you do like it, I suggest you continue with the movie and then you go to 3. I'll explain why once I get to the movie itself, but yeah, I digress. So first off, the good things that I like about the season itself. I have already explained this in the opening. The animations. It might have been like nostalgia bait, but growing up with Date Alive in my pre-teens, so around when I was like 10 or 11, the Date Alive 1 and presumably 2 and also the movie, the animation wise for that era of anime is particularly good. Although looking back at it now, compared to the modern anime, somehow the animation from back then still holds up and really high. Hence the reason why I still have Date Alive as like the entire series as a whole very high up in my very like recommended anime to other people. That being said, I cannot really praise the animation too much considering the fact that After 3, I already explained, it kind of go downhill. But if we are taking a microscopic look at just 1 alone, the animation is just sublime. For the time period, it's just perfect, magnifique. As for the characters for the first season, aside from our main character, I feel like the season itself introduces a lot of characters, but also not a lot to want us to pay close attention to the story. Okay, well, here's the example. Our main cast consisted of Shido, Toka, Yoshino and Yoshinon. I'm just gonna combine both because they're technically one and the same. Kurumi, his sister Kotori, and basically the squad that is working behind Kotori is Shido's homeroom teacher for some reason, but I'm gonna consider that as side characters. His classmates, which are also side characters, and the AST squad are considered side characters, and Origami, which is, from my understanding from back then, is like bridge between main and side. So she's kind of in between. She just exists to serve the plot. As for that, they kind of did a very good job in balancing each of the spirits shown in the first season. Just like, okay, for example, I do know that the anime do cut a lot of things, but to put into perspective, the first season covers book 1 through 4. So basically, book 1 is about Toka, book 2, Yoshino, book 3, Kurumi, book 4, Kotori. That's book 1 through 4, like throughout. I feel like in 12 episodes, they just kind of encapsulate what the premise of the story is in each chapter. So if you look at it this way, the first 1 to 3 is Toka's chapter, 4 to 6 is kind of Yoshino's chapter, and then I feel like there's like I think 7 is like filler, then 8 to 9, or is it 8 to 10 is kind of Kurumi mixed with a little bit of Kotori, and then I think 11 to 12 is kind of Kotori is just like the main girl, from what I recall. Sorry if I pause a little bit here. I'm just trying to think of things that I want to say. I have a note here, but like I'm trying to go off from memory because, like I said, this is like one of the animes that I really like. I guess. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna quickly mention this here because this will not come up in any other season aside from 2. How the spirits interact with their day-to-day life is quite unique. I'm just gonna skip out on major spoilers here, so I'm not gonna mention who Shido managed to accomplish or managed to capture the hearts of in the first season because that's considered spoilers. But let's just say that those that he manages to capture the heart of, they kind of ingrained themselves in his life perfectly. It's kind of odd to say considering the fact that every few episodes or so they'll introduce new girls. This goes to say for every single episode down the line. So from season 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5, not so much. I'm just gonna say it from 2 to around late 4 to early 5 because I don't want to get into 5. 5 is considered major spoilers for everyone who haven't watched or haven't read, so I'm just gonna not mention it. Okay, here comes the part that I consider a hot take. Personal opinion aside, Origami, I think I talked about her during the character part, and the entirety of the AST squad. In this season alone, it doesn't appear too much, but once you watch it again for the second or third time, you kind of get the feeling that they're just the what to say? It's similar to Batman and his rogues gallery or something, just like run-of-the-day villain. And they're not even villains. In humanity's eyes, spirits are the villains because they entered our world and then they decide when they enter they just nuke a bunch of stuff, and the AST unit are deployed to deal with such threats until Shido comes in, of course, because main protagonist power. But here's the thing, especially down the line, you can actually see it once like you reach Kurumi's, not Kurumi, yeah, Kotori's arc. AST has become useless in a way. Like, I know that they introduced like major spoilers, but not really, because like I said, the anime has been come up for a very long time and it's the first season, so I think I can say it. They introduced Mana, which is Shido's technically younger sister who works for the AST. AST in this case, I think it stands for Anti-Spirit Task Force. Don't quote me on this, I also don't remember, I just always call it AST. Mana in it of itself is like one of the strongest characters that the AST have that has been shown in season 1. Season 2 on the other hand is different. I'll talk to that later on. But Mana eventually kind of betrays the organization, so technically speaking, the only person that kind of works for them in the first season is Origami herself and her goon squads, if you want to call it that way. In my opinion, that is just lazy writing. I understand that this light novel is like almost 10 years old. If I do recall it correctly, the first book came out in 2009 or 2010. Don't quote me on this, I haven't fact checked myself, this is just from pure memory. So the first season, basically the source material for the first season has been out for over a decade now. So the way that they write the villains in this case for like book 1 through 4 is very weak per se. Sure, I feel like they just provide comedy relief more than providing a villain for like Shido to fight, which I kind of understand why they did it, because later on in like season 2, season 3, 4, 5 and stuff, it just kind of reveals that they aren't really villains, but you know what, like during the time when season 1 came out, everyone saw these guys as the villains, technically speaking at least. An honorable mention for things that I don't like. This is gonna be a rapid fire review one. So first up on the agenda, the dating simulation thing. Once Shido is trying to win over the spirit's heart. Okay, hot take. I just don't really think the visual novel aspect works here. Look, I do understand that Date Alive have like 3 to 4 visual novel games. I think, don't quote me on this, there's one about Rin, and then Ren, I think a Ren Dystopia, and then there's the one about the 2 robot twins, and then there's the one about the pink hair girl, and then there's Rio. So technically there's like Len, Rio, the robot twins, and then the other one. So technically there's 4 games. 3 of them you can't even get, by the way. Technically you can get it on Steam for just 1 game, but back in the day there's no such thing as a Steam release for the international. So technically speaking, you still have to buy 3, and all of them are Japanese region locked. So if you want to play, then you have to learn Japanese, and henceforward you have to go buy the Japanese version, and then you have to pray to God that you have a PSP version. But like, I'm just ranting about a review that will come later on down the line once I finish like season 3. Because technically speaking, the game takes place after season 3, but the canonicity of the games are kind of debatable at best. That's another thing, that's another whole can of worms that I'll probably tackle it once I get into season 3, but I'm so sorry, I just gotta vent. This is like very bad timing on their part. Yeah, going back to the visual novel aspect, it's just like, I understand that they want to picture Shido as someone who has never dated a girl and have no clue how to date a girl before. And by all means, we all have been there. I feel like every single male, every single man at some point in their life don't know how to date a girl, don't know how to pick up a girl. I'm still in that phase, even like I have been into relationship multiple times, but that's just luck somehow. But yeah, it's just like there are people coaching him during the process, but somehow the advices that they give through his like earpiece or intercom is somehow like so bad that most of the time that Shido just kind of wing it and he eventually finished it. Like he managed to accomplish the goal of what they have been trying to help him with. Like that is just like I understand that it wants to show that Shido grows into a character that kinda knows how to win someone over, or like he manages to win them over on his own. But why would you include that part to begin with? Like it would be better for him to just learn how to date someone, which granted the anime did show attempt at how he learned to date someone via his homeroom teacher. I also don't know why, but technically speaking, that's something that people like. I won't argue, because technically speaking, I'm also in that boat. But I just find it odd that eventually these side characters are just like fodder, and like they just doesn't serve any good purposes at all. Another second thing on the honorable mention list is probably the fact that, oh yeah, by the way, you probably would have to lock your doors while you're watching this. At first I was gonna make a joke about this at the end, but like you would probably have to lock your doors while watching this when you get to Yoshino's arc, just to be safe, because I'm not one with the Westerners that say that lolicons and shotacons are bad. I'm always of the opinion that you can always like set characters of a certain age, or a certain body type, as long as you don't do that in real life. So for example, if you like somebody who is very small and petite, please do not go after them in real life, as in go after those that have similar body type but still underage, because that's just wrong. If they are a grown adult, by all means, it's all game. Like, they're already over 18. Who cares? It's your life. If you want to date somebody who's already over 18 but looks like have a like 150 centimeters tall, it's not very busty, but still look like someone in their teens, blah 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 blah. It's your choice. I'm not gonna judge you on that. Probably, I'm sorry, but like mostly people on the West will probably gonna judge you. But trust me, I feel like if you don't cause any problems in the parts of the world that I live, and as long as you're dating someone which is overage, you're probably fine. But since I don't know the majority of the people watching, like which part of the world they're from, I highly suggest that you would have to lock your doors just for the Kotori section, just for the Yoshino section alone. Other parts are fine. You don't have to lock because there's nothing too risky, I would say. But like just for that part alone, I highly suggest please lock your doors. You'll thank me later once you actually watch, but yeah, you'll thank me later. The books, I'm just gonna be completely honest here. Like I said before, that I want to do a separate review or a separate video talking about each volume of the books, but that is completely up to you guys. If you want me to kind of summarize or kind of give you what the book have been cut to create the anime, that is all up to you. If you want me to read or if you want me to summarize it for you, that's fine by me. I still have the books here with me, so I can kind of do stuff down the line. So, personal opinion. Okay, I'm just gonna end my train of thought here, and then let's move on to the closing thoughts. Closing thoughts about the season. Okay, please stay calm. This is just my opinion. You guys will have your own opinion once you watch the anime itself. Personal opinion, this anime is 10 out of 10. Like, just the first season alone. Like I said before, this is one of my favorites, and nostalgia and also personal bias might be at play. If you take those two away, probably 8.5 out of 10. This is just my personal opinion. There will be some stuff that you won't like, especially the part that I mentioned about Yoshinon just now, but it is not too much to the point that you don't want to watch it further. It's just a very, very, very small snippet. Even in the novels down the line, sure, there will be some stuff that will make you question yourself of like, why does this exist? But it's not too much that want you to stop reading. At the end of the day, the story is still fictional and it is Harlem based. So Harlem usually come with romance, and usually romance will also come with comedy. Those three just go along mostly all the time. These three genres are always looped together. So if you don't like it, you can kind of gloss over and just kind of think of it as something to watch during your downtime, something along that line. Like I said before, please, while you watch this, please do lock the doors during that section, just because I don't want you guys to get into trouble. When I was young, I didn't got into trouble because of this, mostly because at that time I couldn't care less. And at that time, I don't have a phone, but I already have like I think like a very bad version of Dell, like oh god, I feel old. I don't even know if people still use Dell in this day and age. So Dell is like a very huge laptop back in the day. It's like weigh like 10 kilograms for whatever reason. It's like very thick. So back in the day, I usually have the Dell just to watch anime and stuff. My parents don't mind. So at the end of the day, it kind of depends on what kind of family you are and what kind of like position you are if you want to watch this. Please, so my advice is to play it safe. If there's any risky parts, or if there will be some risky part that will come up, I suggest you lock the doors. It's not like 18 plus penetration and stuff like that. It's just like mild teasing-ish. I mean, you cannot even call it teasing considering the fact that the main trope of this anime is like, I guess that is spoilers, so I'll let you explore that on your own. Like I said, my overall score for this anime is always gonna be a 10 out of 10. I will always recommend this anime as long as like GGO first half, SAO first half. Like the reason I know that's a very controversial take to suggest SAO in this day and age and in this economy, but like you got to understand, back then SAO first half, basically before AOO, is basically like one of the quote unquote best anime parts that have ever come out. And GGO first part, again, cutting out the AOO part, and Yuki, I'm sorry, even though I like you, but you gotta go, is like one of the best. So my overall score, 10 out of 10, personal bias. Non-bias and non-nostalgia will be something along the line of 8.5 out of 10. As for overall enjoyment, I would say that it is fun. If you look at it as a very jokey Harlem romance anime, you will find yourself enjoying this anime more than, if you think too much while watching the anime, which is odd. Some animes require you to use more than 2% of your brain to be able to understand what the hell is going on. I'm looking at you, Fate, because of your ridiculous timelines. But in this scenario, if you just turn off your brain and just watch it just because it's just an anime and it's just for fun, I do still feel like you will get more enjoyment than overthinking things and considering the legal complications. Anyways, that's all from me for now. I'm not too sure about what the next review is going to be. High chance it's going to be Date Alive Season 2, but I haven't planned it out. But if it's Season 2, I'll probably be rehashing most of the stuff that I have said here. But if it's not Season 2 and it's something else, then yeah, you'll probably hear something new. Quick mention, if it's Season 2, the bad part, be warned. Like, my bad takes on Season 2 is probably gonna burn the kitchen down. So I suggest you get your pitchforks ready, quote unquote, because yeah, it's gonna be very controversial. Anyways, that is all from me. I'll see you all next time.